Good evening, YouTubers. It's a late one this evening. I apologise for that. We had some late arrivals, customers, so had to deal with them. What time is it now? 11:30. So I usually make videos at sunset, but it's got well dark at the moment. And I had a comment from a lady the other day. I've got a name written down here. Christine Whitfold. And it was a story about a slug. Now we have a story.
Did she have a story about a slug?
I can't remember how the conversation came up. She left the comments about a slug, and I said I've got a funny story about a slug, and then she said, go on, tell me. So here's the story about the slug. I'll let you start.
We had a lot of slugs in the garden at one point. We don't really get them so much now. I mean, they're quite naughty. They come in the house and everything, and you open the door, you know, you don't mean to kill them, but it's like a little semicircle, isn't it? But we got rid of them all. I don't know where they went, actually. I didn't actively get rid of them. And you can hear them. You can hear.
Fix the angle of
you
that
can
light.
actually hear the snails. We used to have loads of snails. You can hear them eating the leaves at night. When I go out the garden for a fag, they're really loud.
Chomping away on those leaves.
Yeah, Ben, old James Bond. He came round for a beer, and he took a sip from his glass, and
he was telling jokes and chatting. He's a really funny guy, Ben.
There was a slug on the rim of his glass, and he hadn't noticed, and the beer had gone over it
to drink his beer. So when he put the glass to his lips, he drank the beer over the slug, and he was thinking, oh, that's a bit weird. Then he looked, and he went,
he freaked out. He freaked out.
His reaction was actually funnier than him just.
Yeah.
We called him the slug kisser.
He went, he was like, ooh, he got a load of leaves and he ate a load of leaves and stuff, and he was screaming his head off, and because it was such a girly overreaction, we couldn't breathe for laughing. We nearly fell off our seats. I think he went home then, didn't he?
I mean, they climb up on your glass. People have filmed them drinking beer.
Naughty.
They will drink beer.
They're naughty.
But because Ben's one of these people, he's the life and soul of the party. He's always telling jokes and telling funny stories. And he's just chatting away, drinking his beer, and he just went down to get it. And as he's chatting away, he just put it to his lips, and of course he didn't see the slug. I
think the slug was on the inside of the rim.
Well,
so his top lip felt it, and the beer, he said the beer went over the slug. And then he started going on about their monsters. You want to look at them under a microscope, they've got teeth and stuff, they're disgusting. He had like slug phobia. Oh, it was hilarious.
Poor Ben.
Yeah, the slug story. That was funny though.
That was a slug story. It was very amusing at the time, and we still giggle about it, don't we?
Yeah, occasionally.
Have you ever tell the story about the slug?
I think it was funnier when our boss got a bosun's chair or something out of the bin. Tim loves getting things out of the bin, and he wanted something fixed up his mast. He's got a yacht, and he sent Ben Powell up.
It's like a swing. It's like a plank of wood, and it's attached, so you sit on it, on the chair, and the rope goes around the pulley, and he's winding from the bottom, so he can wind you up the mast. Yeah. So you can do things. And
he wanted something done at the top, and
he wanted his windmill on.
Ben is quite a wiry guy. Anyway, it broke. Ben was hanging up like 30 foot above the yacht.
That's why the guy threw it away.
But what was funny was he was screaming, "Tim, save me!" And you know what Tim's like. He's looking up, going, "Oh, stop making a fuss. I'm thinking of an idea. I'll be there in a minute." And Ben was screaming like a little girl.
He had one of those wind turbines, you know, up the mast.
Was that what it was?
And apparently the thing was broken. It didn't work.
Oh, and it was going.
And it was making a hell of a racket, because when the bearings go in and they start to vibrate, and it sends a vibration down the mast. It keeps you awake in the cabin, especially if it's windy. So we'd sent Ben up the mast to tie it up so it wouldn't go round.
This is a different Ben to our Ben.
In the bosun's
this is not our
chair
Benji.
That he got from the bins, and it snapped while he was sat in it. I mean, he clung to the mast, you know, like Sylvester the cat.
He came back to the office and he went, "Tim nearly killed me. Tim, I nearly died. He's trying to murder me." And we just thought that was hilarious, because Yeah, Tim does try and kill all of us occasionally. We've had electric shocks.
Only to save a few bees. He doesn't do it maliciously.
You were getting in the water once to fix a prop foul, and he had the engine running. He put it in gear by mistake. Do you remember that? Nigel went, "Oh my God, Graham's in the water!"
He had it on full throttle, and then he hit the start button. So as soon as the engine started, it just revved right up and wanted to.
Were you in the water?
I don't think so.
I can't remember. Nigel went, "Oh my God, Graham's been murdered. Tim's murdered Graham."
And he thought, I don't believe I did that. Because no, it was really tight and we wanted to undo it. I think I had hold of one end, and I thought if we actually turn the propeller, it'll unwind. So he goes, does it want to go forwards or backwards? So he put it in forwards and started the engine, and that was like not a good plan.
But he has actually nearly killed himself loads of times. It's not just us. He locked himself in the boot of a car for several hours in the hot sun by accident. And
well, he got in the boot to mess with the mechanism for the electric sunroof or something. It was a rag top. I think that was what it was. And he was in the boot fiddling around, and the boot went clunk and shut, and he's like.
And Conchie didn't realise for about 2 hours.
It's like an oven in there, isn't it, in the sun out here.
And the other time he blew himself up out, he's blown himself up quite a few times, but when he blew himself up with the expanding foam, that was hilarious.
I mean, they were giving each other filthy looks, and we just saw all this expanding foam spattered around in front of the shop. And we thought, what happened here?
And he had it on his lens, didn't he? All expanding
anyway,
foam.
It says, do not pierce, even when empty. Right?
I knew that from when I was a little kid. You don't stab aerosols.
So Tim figured he didn't quite have enough. So he thought he'll pierce the can to get the last remnants of the expanding foam out. Which, to cut a long story short, blew up in his face.
There was a blowback shadow on the ceiling, on the
You
window.
could see
it was
the outline of his, like a cartoon. You know, they said it could have taken my eyes out, but he had these massive glasses.
Yeah, he was livid because
his face was all spattered.
All of us were laughing, and he went, "I don't see what's so funny. I could have been blinded, you bastards." And you think it, and then Conchie went out with a rag to wipe it, and he went, "No!"
She had a brush, as it was expanding all the puddle. The puddle was expanding on the concrete. And
it was there for years.
She's trying to brush it away, and it's just spreading it everywhere.
It's gone now, but it was there for about 6 years.
If she'd have left it until it had gone hard, he could have just pulled it up in one piece, I'm sure, but that's not what happened.
To this day, he still says, "I can't believe you bastards laughing at me." I said, it was when you took your glasses off, Tim, and you had expanding foam on your face, except your eyes. You went, "I could have lost my eye." Oh, yeah. He's a walking disaster, really, isn't he?
I bought him a light switch for his birthday once, one year. For the toilet, do you remember that?
But it wasn't to save money. He was just curious as to why that particular switch kept electrocuting us all.
You got to turn the light on.
That's all he wanted to know. He's told me that.
Anyway, he's replaced the light switch now in the toilet.
And it was worse if you
with one of those that goes off after 15 seconds.
Oh dear.
So you're sitting on the loo and then it goes dark, and you've got to reach up and keep pressing it.
Unless you've got your back to it because you're a man.
Unless you've got your back to it, then you're weeing in the dark.
But it was worse if you put your hand on the metal filing cabinet as you turned the light switch on. It was like, ooh, you completely made a connection.
But he spent the whole day stripping the switch and inspecting it with a huge magnifying glass and looking at it. Put it all back together.
Why?
Put it back on the toilet and then turned it on and got a shock from it. So I went to the shop, electric shop, just bought him a light switch that cost £3. Let's just call it a £5. And I said, "There you go, Tim. Bought you a present for your birthday."
Yeah, and you tell the same story for years, and he's told you for years it wasn't to do with the cost. He wanted to get to the bottom of the mystery of why the electric shocks. And it wasn't until Conchie got one that he went, she said, "Oh, Tim, I have just been electrocuted." And I said, "Oh yeah, that's been happening for years." And she went, "What?" When
things like that go faulty, you just throw them away and put a new one on, don't you? You don't worry about why.
It was dead weird because it was a plastic switch as well. And we used to get shocks on Goldfin going up the ladder.
That was static electricity.
Oh, was it? Well, it used to get... Every time I went up the ladder, I used to dread going up the ladder.
Well, it's amazing how much static electricity a vehicle generates. I mean, we don't notice it.
Why doesn't it do it anymore? Somebody fixed something.
People used to get electric shocks when you got out of a car. As soon as you put your foot on the ground, just, ooh!
But
ow.
Graham, why did it stop doing it? Someone must have fixed something.
I don't know. I didn't fix it.
I mean, I wasn't wearing nylon knickers or anything like that.
I know, occasionally you got a shock when you went to the
Occasionally, every time. On every rung.
It depends what shoes you're wearing as well. I remember the amount of static electricity a helicopter generated. Because when we were in the army, we had to put a hook on they had a tow hook on the bottom. And you have to go up, stand on top of the pallet with a big net, and it's got a big ring. And you have to hook it onto the helicopter, but before you do that, you've got to earth the static with a wire that's on a tent peg going into the ground. So one guy's standing there with this probe, with all rubber, big rubber thing, because if you don't, the static shock will throw you off the pallet. So you have to hit it to discharge the static electricity first before he hooks it up. These are Wessex helicopters years and years ago. And if you missed the hook and then he coupled it up, like say, you got a massive belt of static electricity. It's horrible getting electrocuted. It's not a nice feeling, is it?
I've been electrocuted loads of times. I've blown myself up.
Ugh.
Blew a hole in my hand once from a hairdryer.
Did you?
Mm. Got bitten by a snake on Farben in the boatyard.
Yeah. A wire with two things sticking out. I honestly thought it was a dead wire. So I left it there, and
240 volt mains.
Fiona found out it was live one day. But I'm not an electrician, okay?
He left it sticking in the laundry basket where my hand was going all the time.
I thought it was dead.
Well, it wasn't, Graham. So
but I've learned about multimeters.
You're just as bad as Tim. Oh God, do you remember when he fell down the bilge? He left the hatch.
He just walked into the cabin and vanished down the hole. We didn't laugh.
I did.
Wasn't funny.
I did. It was comic. He didn't hit his head or anything. He just went wallop straight down. What a shock! Just landed standing up in the bilge.
Yeah. Well, only rookies and admirals stand at the top of hatches, don't they?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Oh, he's a right admiral, that one. Our fearless leader.
Fearless leader. Well, what's on the cards for tomorrow? I might go for a walk into Gibraltar tomorrow. Go and see the monkeys or something.
I've got my circular saws have arrived.
Oh, have they? Will you be dremeling then, will you?
I might be, yeah.
Well, we can come for a walk with me and then you can dremel in the afternoon.
No, I'll dremel in the morning. It's too hot in the afternoon.
Well, you won't be out of bed.
I've got to clean the house in the afternoon. People are out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, such is life.
And so the merry-go-round continues. Like a hamster in a wheel.
When your next people are in a couple of days, is it?
Yeah.
August, isn't it? It's busy in August. Right.
I've got it down to a fine art now. Oh, it's humid. But it is cooling down a bit now. See, August is not as bad, is it?
It's not as hot as July. July is painful. Painful.
The end of July is searing.
Well, it's not going to ease up anytime soon.
It will, sooner than you think.
I seem to remember the first week in September you start feeling a bit chilly.
No, October. September's warm. Very warm.
Can be.
It's not burning. It's
a nice, long, hot Indian summer.
It's a nice month, September.
I've known it be sunny all the way till December.
Yeah.
And it's a lot cooler in the autumn, but it's like a British summer. So you've got the beautiful weather, and it's summer, you can sunbathe.
Yeah. But
it's just not as hot. And all the tourists have gone home and the place is empty and you think this is great. I really, really like the summers.
I've been hiding from the sun, believe it or not, for about 6 weeks. I normally do like 3 days sunbathing. I'll do an hour a day, that's it. And then I hide.
I did half an hour this afternoon on the Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've not been out on the dolphin boats. You go really, really dark. But I basically hide from the sun, and then when September comes, it's a bit more gentle, isn't it?
You're looking very dark tonight with your white t-shirt on.
It's blue.
Well, it looks white in this light.
Okay.
I'm sure it is blue.
And everybody's come out now, because they come out,
Oh,
all the
God,
kids
yeah.
come out late at night because it's so hot in the day.
We've got the boardwalk there.
It's lovely that all the families come out.
It's just so hot in the daytime this day, and they come out when the sun sets. And it's not unusual to see the little children playing out on the swings at midnight.
Yeah.
You know, that's totally
well,
normal.
it's got to be oh yeah, it's 1:45 now.
Yeah.
And they're all out, little tiny tots on the swings.
Yeah.
But it's nice, they have to get out. It's just too dark.
Well, it's nice and cool this time of night. It's
dark.
nice to go for a walk this time of night.
It is, it's lovely. And it's no wind, not a breath of wind.
What's the old saying? Mad dogs, an Englishman.
go out in the midday sun.
That's true. Was that Noel Coward or someone?
I used to think that every time we were doing the dolphin trips, because they were always in the middle of the day, weren't they? 12:30, 2 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, all the worst times of the day to be out. No choice.
That's when they made their money.
Yeah.
Dolphin Safari is for sale. If you want to buy it, you need to speak to Tim, make him a sensible bid. It's been around for 50 odd years, since 1969. And he will take, I'm not going to mention a figure, but he will take a sensible offer.
Yeah.
For sure. For a business that's been
The
around that long.
blue boat.
The blue boat. You could
It's
Google
too
it.
much for me. I haven't got the energy, the time, the patience, really. I don't mind working for someone else, because then the buck stops with them. It's their responsibility, and I'll back them up to the hilt all the way. But as soon as I do something for me, it all goes tits up. You know, I'm not a very good boss for myself, because we considered it at one point, didn't we? But it's.
I'm sure we could have taken it on and come to an arrangement. But
no, Graham, I can't.
No, I don't think it's on the cards, really. I don't.
No.
Well, I haven't got a medical now.
I don't know where he's got in his energy from for 25 years.
So, unless there's anything else that you want to add, my lovely?
No, I don't think so. Time for bed soon.
Another day.
Yeah.
What's happening on the news?
Loads of stuff. I don't know.
Oh, some people got sent to prison today for rioting.
Yep.
Guy got 3 years. Another guy got 2 years, 6 months for burning a police car. A big Mercedes van, burnt it to the ground, a complete write-off. And they said the van will cost £32,000 to replace. They sent him to prison for 2.5 years. I thought, people get more than that for being rude on Facebook. Good night, and may your God go with you.